I am amped. Here we go. We're gonna be doing some pre-spawn bass fishing today. If you guys know anything about pre-spawn bass fishing, it can be one of the most rewarding times of the year. These fish are big, they're fat, and they're hungry, but at the same time, this can also be one of the most frustrating times of the year. Sometimes the bass are just so hard to figure out, and any angler knows that sometimes it just gets super frustrating, and these fish just get finicky. They get really finicky and you can't figure them out. So today I'm gonna show you guys everything that I do this time of year, from rigs to setups to cover, just literally everything that I do to find fish this time of year. And hopefully while we do this, we'll get into a pig. I'm ready to get a 5-pounder. I don't know about you guys. I know that sounds kind of cocky, but this lake has the potential for me, and I think we can make it happen. All right, guys, let's go to the GoPro. Had to get a little bit. Ow! That is a great way to start the day. Well, boys, yikes. It's the only problem about small John boats is you tend to just put hooks through your hand, apparently. But let's talk fishing, guys. The number one thing to think about this time of year when it comes to like spring fishing or pre-spawn is to just have variety. That's like my biggest tip I'm gonna give right off the bat. As you guys can see, I got quite a few rods here with me. I know a lot of you guys may or may not have different rod setups, etc. I wouldn't be worried about the rod setups. I'd just be worried about having bait variety. This is the time of year that sometimes it takes a whole lot to figure these fish out. The second tip I'm gonna have for you guys is to just have like a lot of moving baits, a lot of baits that allow you to cover a lot of water. There's fish all over the place here. You got males coming up shallow to get ready and make those beds. You got females roaming around and feeding on bait fish and things like that, getting ready to you know, get frisky. They're trying to get all stocked up. But one of the main things I like to start off doing is throwing a lipless crank. A lipless crank allows you to cover a lot of water. You can cover it literally in every situation, the way I look at it. You can fish a bait like this shallow, you can fish it deep, you can jig it, you can burn it, you can bounce it in and out of cover. It's just a very versatile bait, and it tends to trigger bites this time of year. Lipless cranks also have this thing in particular. They have a nice rattle in there. You can get a nice loud presentation. I like to throw baits that just cause a lot of water commotion. Rattles, blades, chatterbaits, things that are gonna make vibrations and things like that are really gonna trigger a bite this time of year. These fish are aggressive. Believe it or not, you're gonna find them aggressive. And there's a fish right there off the bat, guys, in like the third cast. Not a big one, but I'll take it. A fish is a fish, guys. Boom. Okay, there we go, guys. First fish in the first couple of minutes. Boom, on the lipless crank. Like I said, guys, you just gotta get there. You gotta cover some water, and that's where I start. Not a bad place to start at all. Not a big one by any means, but it's a good fish. So yeah, I mean, just bait variety is so important this time of year, and just covering a lot of water, guys. That's all I can say. It's like, there's fish in so many different places on the pond this time of year. It can just be wild. If I end up changing baits, I'll make sure I inform you guys on what I'm doing and why. But this could be the juice for the day. I don't know. Okay. So I'm gonna go to my next favorite bait to fish this time of year, or in this scenario, and that is going to be a chatterbait. I love fishing chatterbaits. Chatterbaits produce a lot of fish this time of year. Any angler will probably tell you that. This is a great confidence bait to start throwing. This bait, that lip on there gives it a nice vibrating movement. You can still cover a ton of water, and you can get into a little more places with this bait right here. You can get kind of in and out of the grass. You can get up and over logs. There's a lot of cover you can fish with this bait, and I just love fishing these baits. It's a big confidence bait for me. One of the biggest things that I will tip you guys with, or that I want to just explain to you guys, whenever it comes to just fishing in general, whether it be this time of year or not, fish something that you have confidence in. Don't fish something because somebody told you to fish it or because it's working for them. If you don't have confidence in it and it's not just like making you feel good when you fish it, don't fish it. You got to have that gut feeling. That is so important to me when it comes to fishing. I do not fish baits that I do not have confidence in, because I don't know, that's just what I believe. So fish what works and what you have confidence in. That's my numero uno tip, guys. So I'm gonna fish this chatterbait here a little bit. Hopefully I don't crash my John boat over here. I'm getting close to shore. I'm gonna throw this guy. I'm actually gonna hug the shore for this one. And don't be afraid to get shallow this time of year, guys. I will spend the time in and out of all this cover right here, all these fallen down trees and things like that. I will spend the time getting right on that shoreline and covering a ton of water for these fish, because this time of year, these males are coming up real shallow. These males will come up shallow, and they're gonna start getting ready to, you know, scout where they're gonna put their beds at and things like that. If you guys don't know, the males come in, they make these beds, and then soon after, these females will come in, and that's when they'll start, you know, doing the dirty and laying their eggs. These fish are, you're gonna find them everywhere. It's just, it's so unpredictable. So just cover as much water as you possibly can. Alrighty guys, so I just spent quite a bit of time working the lake with a chatterbait, and so far no bueno. So I covered a lot of water, and now we're gonna take a drastic change. So I started off kind of covering a lot of water fast, and then I kind of slowed things down a bit, but still was focused on covering water. Now let's just see if maybe the fish are just, you know, they're not feeling roaming around. Maybe they're just hanging tight, and we're gonna take a jig and we're gonna fish these trees right here. And like I said, guys, sometimes you just really got to figure them out, and you got to have the baits that are going to allow you to do that. So I am going to throw this crack and crawl right up here in the shallow and see if there's anything just chilling in here. Alrighty, no luck on the jig. So we're gonna keep on filtering baits. Now, there was a bait that I brought out here that I originally would probably go to next, but what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm actually gonna switch over to a spinner bait. It's a little windy out today, and the wind really kind of just died out, and the sun came out. But I'm still gonna go with this idea, and I'm gonna grab this Mr. Tackle box, and I should have a spinner bait in here. Yeah, we're gonna try and throw on this spinner bait right here. Spinner baits, again, another productive bait this time of year. And I'm going back to focusing on covering water. I just do not feel productive with the jig. Man, I cannot talk today. So let's see, what rod am I gonna put this on? I'm gonna go ahead and I'll take the, well, tie on this guy right here. And we're going up in a cove right here, and I don't know, I just kind of feel like a spinner bait may produce right now. We're gonna see though. Man, I got really excited because I nailed a fish on like the first few casts, and I was like, man, today's gonna be a good day. But it was just a lucky right off the bat fish. I mean, it doesn't mean it's gonna be a bad day. Just sometimes you gotta work for it. Sometimes you feel like you're not gonna have to work for it, but today's one of those days where I'm gonna have to work for it. There's a fish right there. There we go. He came out of nowhere right in front of the boat as I'm turning on the trolling motor. It's a little bit better one. Oh yeah. Come here, buddy. There we go. A little bit better. It's about a 2-pounder right there. Holy mackerel. I don't know what happened to this guy, but woo, he engulfed that spinner bait, guys. Wow. He got the trailer hook and the main hook. I think I got these pliers right here. Boom, let's get this guy out of here. Alrighty guys, well, here's a little tip for you. Do you see how this hook right here is kind of just stuck under his gill plate? I don't want to ruin his gill plate. I don't want to hurt this fish. So what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and pull the stopper, the hook stopper for the trailer hook. All right, let's see. Okay, I got that off. So here's what we're going to do, guys. A little fish tip 101. Don't try and ruin their gill plate. Get that hook off of there. I'm gonna get my spinnerbait out of here, like so. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna reach in there and we're gonna pull the hook out backwards, like so. Voila, hook's out. Fish isn't bleeding. And as much as I want to put him on the big camera, guys, boom, he's gone down there. Okay, that was unexpected. We had to do a little fish surgery, but we got another one. Okay guys, so I'm gonna give you a quick little update and then we're gonna keep fishing. So we kind of went from a cloudy, windy, overcast day to a light switch, and now it's like blue skies and sunny and warm. The temperature is actually only going up from here, so things are gonna change a little bit. But to give you just an overview, I fished 4 different baits so far. I fished a lipless crank, I fished a chatterbait, I fished a jig, and now I fished a spinnerbait. So I'm constantly changing it up, but the one thing that the majority of the baits have had in common, or at least the ones that, you know, caught fish, is that I was covering water with them. And the consistent thing to do is just to find those fish, guys. You gotta fish a little bit of everything until you find those fish. So we're gonna continue to do that. I'm gonna keep fishing the spinnerbait. I did just get 1 fish here, and we had a little bit of a surgery thing going on there with that. But you know what? The night is young, guys. It's only about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's been slow, but it is the middle of the day, and sometimes that's just how it goes. And again, it's springtime. Sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's really difficult. So we're gonna see what we get into here and go back into the GoPro. Okay guys, spinnerbait's kind of dying out. It's not really producing for me. It's been quite a while, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change things up again. We're just gonna keep it going. And this time I'm gonna get loud and proud. Now I'm gonna go back to going to a lipless crank, but I'm gonna change the style of the bait. I'm gonna go a little more natural. I'm gonna go a little bit bigger. And like I said, I'm just gonna be loud, proud. I'm gonna try and rip this thing. It was overcast, it was windy. Moving over the spinnerbait was a good choice. When it's windy like that, spinnerbaits are one of my go-tos, but things have really calmed out. The sun came out, so I wanna try and throw something, just kind of start ripping it and seeing what happens. So I'm gonna take actually the spinnerbait off, and I just wanna try an entirely different lipless crank. It's crazy how much you can change things up when you just can't give up. You cannot give up this time of year. You just gotta fish, 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 and you gotta make it happen. All right, so here is my choice right here. Kind of got a little shaddish color. Actually, I don't know what this color is, to be honest with you guys, but I just like this color. And I think this is another lipless crank that I got out of my mystery tackle box. So I'm gonna try and chuck this guy out there, and I'm just gonna keep my rod tip up, and I'm gonna rip this thing. And I'm using a 7-to-1 gear ratio reel. This is actually like another one of my jigging reels, and I'm just gonna rip this thing, guys. I'm feeling confident by just ripping this thing through the water column that I should be able to pick up a bite. There's a little one. Whoop! Little tiny guy. Kind of ripped him out of the water. Sorry there, bud. Well, there's a little guy for you. Boop. Go grow and be bigger. So it's producing. We got our first fish on it. Not ideally what I'm looking for, but it's a fish. So baby steps, baby steps. Alrighty, guys. I'm worn out on throwing this thing. And here we go again. I'm just gonna keep on changing up, guys. It's a grind. It's a darn grind. If you really want to get that big one, you gotta grind. Guys, they're killing me. They are killing me. Whew. All right, so time check. I just looked at my phone. We're looking at 5 to 5. It's 4:55. I got on the water at about like 1:15, 1:30. So I've been out here a little bit, and I got what, 3 fish in total, 2 okay ones, and then a little dink. Guys, I'm not giving it up. There's so much opportunity out here. It's just a lot of work. Sometimes you really got to work for it. Sometimes you come out here and they let you off easy, but today they're making me work for it. So I'm not gonna give up. I want a 5-pounder. I didn't even bring a scale, so I can't accurately get a 5-pounder, but I just want to go home with a fish worth working for. I've been out here long enough. There's no point in giving up. I gotta keep going. I gotta keep grinding. I gotta keep changing baits. I've been working each bait for like an hour at a time, and some of them produce, some of them don't. But I just tried the jig for a little bit. I'm gonna reverse here so I don't hit the tree. I just tried a jig for a solid hour. I fished it like a swim jig. I threw it in and out of the cover, and nothing. And honestly, the fish that I caught, guys, they just don't look like they're feeding off the bottom. If that sounds weird to you or you don't understand that, usually when you pick up a fish or you catch one, you'll see how red their mouth will be and things like that. You'll see it. You'll be able to tell if they're digging for crawfish off the bottom or something. And that right now, I don't think that's the case. I think they're roaming around, and they're looking for some bait fish, and they're trying to get on a good bite. I do want to try throwing a swim bait, but I did not bring any with me. So the only thing I haven't tried yet that I really have with me that is completely different from everything else that I brought is that big old Weston glide bait. So I'm gonna get out in the channel of this lake. I'm gonna put this on my 7'3" heavy rod. I'm gonna wing this thing towards the shore. I'm gonna wing it out in the middle, and we're just gonna use this glide bait to try and rattle up a big donkey. So hopefully there's a big female just looking around for some bait fish, and hopefully she sees this bait. So I'm not giving up, guys. You gotta believe in yourself. You gotta have confidence in what you fish. And at the end of the day, that might be the biggest lesson to fishing like this, is just being confident and working hard versus the baits that you fish. So even though the baits kind of play a big part, but we're gonna throw this glide bait on. Here we go. I'm gonna give it at least 2 more hours. I gotta do this. Alrighty guys, I'm gonna fish this thing pretty hard just because I'm pretty confident about it. You're basically imitating a giant shad. We're fishing pretty clear water, so it's a really good natural color to be thrown in clear water. And I call this a glide bait. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I fish a lot of baits like this when it comes to muskie fishing, but we have a similar presentation as the lipless crank, which was working earlier, so I'm pretty confident about it. The only difference here is this is gonna be like a pop, pop, pause bait. It's gonna have an erratic pull action, and then it's just gonna really pause and slowly float down, versus the rattle trap where you're just ripping it along. Got a nice loud rattle in there, so it's going to, you know, hopefully draw some attention. And I don't know, I've never used a bait like this for bass, to be honest with you guys. I got this in my mystery tackle box, and I was ecstatic to be able to use it for muskie, but I don't see why bass wouldn't annihilate it. So we're gonna throw this guy around. It's a pretty big bait, bigger than what I normally fish for bass, but I'm just gonna. Whew. Well, y'all, to say the least, I've been defeated. And that about sums up spring fishing for you guys. If you didn't catch on, it really just takes a lot of work. And some days you go out there and you whack them on one bait, and some days you gotta do what I did today, and you have to fish a little bit of everything to figure them out. You know, it's not gonna be easy all the time, but as it gets warmer, you know, things lighten up. At the end of the day, I did catch 3 fish, so that's not a bad day. I went through several different baits trying to get on fish today, and actually every fish that I caught was on a different bait. So, you know, at the end of the day, guys, my biggest tip for you is just to stay confident. Fish moving baits. Fish, if you're fishing clear water, fish natural colors. If you're fishing stained water, you know, fish those more fluorescents, fish those black and blues, those darker colors. Just, you gotta work for it. That's it at the end of the day. So, unfortunately, I didn't get the big one I was looking for, but hey, you know, it's not over yet. We can come back out here another day and we can get on them. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was honestly all over the place. Hey, if you guys are new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button below. If you like this video, drop a like for me or leave a comment, and you know the deal. We'll be out here fishing again, so I will see you guys in the next one.